Hey guys, back with a little visitor today. Not the weenie dog. Somebody wanted to pop in and say hello. It's Briella. She turned the big 7 last week, so my baby girl is growing up. All right, let's get back with one more chapter this week. Make sure you're caught up on all this week's assignments. I think I might stick with what I did last week and I want you to watch the YouTube video, but on Fridays I may give you the opportunity where you can just do some reinforcement games and activities, not necessarily do anything for a grade, and then hopefully everybody can get caught up. Remember, you're still checking your email every day to make sure that a teacher has not tried to get in contact with you. Remember, there are also related arts choice boards you guys can be working on, staying busy through the day with doing PE or art or music or something like that throughout the day as well. All right, we are on Chapter 7, War in the Northeast. The British did not want to give the colonies their freedom. They hired Hessian soldiers from Germany to fight the patients. Now, the very mention of the word Hessian, German soldiers, they pretty much were out for blood. They hired them to basically come and help them win because they were known to be such ruthless and victorious in battle that they wanted some extra help on their side. The British had more men and supplies than the colonists, but the colonists were fighting for a cause they believed in. They were also fighting in a land they knew well. So let's look at pros and cons of both, okay? We had the British over here with all their fancy uniforms and weapons, and now they had the Hessian soldiers with them. They had money because it was being funded and funneled through England. But then we had the colonists over here. Not much money, not many weapons, no uniforms, so no continuity among them. That ragtag bunch, but they're fighting with a passion for freedom, and they're fighting on a land they knew well. So we're going to see which one of those wins out. In August 1776, Washington and his soldiers met the British on Long Island in what is now Brooklyn, New York. A battle began. The Patriots fought hard, but they were surrounded. A violent rainstorm began. Washington had to save his men. He asked nearby colonists to lend him their boats. In the fog, he loaded his men, horses, and cannons into the small boats. They crossed the East River to Manhattan, and then they marched north to safety, crossing the Delaware. During the winter of 1776, the British and Hessians relaxed. Now, during the winter, when the outside conditions would just be implorable, harsh weather conditions, such wintry mix, they didn't want them to get frostbite, hypothermia, all that set in. So most of the time they chose not to fight in the winter. It just kind of laid a dormant state. So the troops were still there, but there wasn't active fighting, almost kind of like a hibernation kind of area where they were just taking a pause button on the war. But George Washington had a better plan. They thought Washington's army was too weak to fight in the cold, but they were in for a surprise. On a freezing Christmas Eve in 1776, Washington had a daring plan. He wanted to attack Hessian soldiers in Trenton, New Jersey. Let's think about that. Is Christmas Eve a smart time to attack? What would families be doing? Or even the soldiers in the British camps be doing? They would be feasting, they would be celebrating, probably going to sleep. Christmas Eve, they were not expecting him. Washington ordered his men to cross the Delaware River. He watched his soldiers loaded into rowboats. Huge blocks of ice floated in the water. So this is very dangerous conditions for them to be willing to fight in. Rain and sleet pelted down. The tiny boat struggled through the water. Time after time, they returned to pick up men and cannons. But Washington, he was elected our leader for a reason. He knows what he's doing. The Battle of Trenton. The men reached the New Jersey shore about 3 o'clock in the morning. They were wet and freezing. Their musket powder was damp. "If wet powder is a problem, we shall use our bayonets," Washington said. The tired soldiers marched 9 miles to Trenton. Some walked with their shoes falling to pieces. Their bare feet made bloody prints in the snow. The Hessians had been celebrating Christmas. Many were asleep. The attack was a complete surprise. The Americans swooped down on the sleeping Hessians. They captured over 1,000 men. It was a big victory for the colonists. And of course, now they know why they elected Washington as their leader. A victory at Saratoga. In the fall of 1777, the colonists fought British troops in Saratoga, New York. Generals Horatio Gates and Benedict Arnold led the Patriots. After a fierce battle, the British surrendered. Now, if someone ever calls you a Benedict Arnold, it's a little bit different than the John Hancock. Remember, that was someone who just signs their signature. A Benedict Arnold is going to be known as a traitor because he later became a traitor and joined the British, kind of like a spy. After the victory at Saratoga, other countries knew the colonies had a chance. The French sent ships and soldiers. Their aid gave the colonists courage to keep fighting. All right, we're going to stop there today, guys. Go ahead and check out the other assignment, and you guys have a great day. Bye.